Hello, this is Miss Schrader. Today we're going to be looking at some of the artwork of one of Surrealism's most famous artists, Salvador Dali, and you can see his picture here. My students, you're going to need a piece of paper and something to write with. You are taking notes, and when you're done, you are giving me 10 sentences about the art of Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali was born in 1904 in Catalonia, Spain, and he died in 1989, also in Catalonia. He is considered one of the founders as well as one of the most significant of the Surrealist artists. He's renowned for his technical skill, precise draftsmanship, and the striking and bizarre images of his work. And as time went by and he got older, he became more surrealistic as an individual. And that's why I'm showing you this picture. This is a picture done by Alan Warren in 1972. And by this point, Dolly is wearing this long, bizarre mustache. He normally will do all kinds of weird things when he's out in public. So he was working on being very surrealistic in his personality as well. Okay, so we've seen this one before. This is The Persistence of Memory. This is the most famous of surrealistic paintings. It was done in 1931. Um, it is showing the melting of pocket watches, epitomizing Dali's theory of hardness and softness, which was at the center of his thinking. The interpretation suggests that Dali was incorporating an understanding of the world introduced by Albert Einstein's theory of special relativity. Supposedly, there is a human in the middle of this picture. I think it is that strange tan creature with the clock folding over it. Sometimes it's also referred to as a monster. The orange clock at the bottom left hand corner is covered with ants. This is a symbol of decay. There is another insect in the painting, a fly, which is on the watch that is next to the orange watch. It casts a shadow that is in a human form, and the craggy rocks on the right represent the tip of Cape de Cruz Peninsula in northern Catalonia, and I probably said it incorrectly. So lots and lots of meaning in this piece, and I say it is the most famous piece of surreal artwork there is. This piece is called Soft Destruction with Boiled Beans, and it's from 1936, and it deals with the destruction that was taking place during the Spanish Civil War at the time. The monster creature in the painting is self destruction, just as a civil war is self destruction. The painting is not meant to depict choosing sides, although Dali apparently had many reasons to choose sides during the war. His sister was tortured and imprisoned by the communists. Um, he made the painting look very realistic and yet continued to have surreal concepts to it. Um, the humans in there have the potential to look like the creatures. Um, and he definitely has a piece of beautiful cotillion sky in the background. I mean, this is intentionally a very ugly piece. It is made to make you feel uncomfortable and not like what's going on, which is what he was saying about the Civil War. Dolly did experiment with more traditional themes in art. This piece is from 1951. It's called Christ on St. John of the Cross. And he says he had a cosmic dream in which he saw this image, and in the dream investigating the nucleus of the atom, which is very, very strange, isn't it? Um, its design is based on a drawing by the 16th century friar John of the Cross, and it is a composition of Christ based on a triangle and a circle. Um, the circle is formed by Christ's head. And he is looking at a variety of different options. Notice the beauty of the land and the water beneath. And you can see that there is a boat on the water, which suggests, something possibly biblical in that as well. This piece is called Galatea of the Spheres, and his wife Gala was the model for it. And according to this, it represents a synthesis of Renaissance art and atomic theory, in which you can see the face of the woman, who does look rather Renaissance like, dividing up into small little spheres, which could be atoms. He's interested in nuclear physics, particularly since the dropping of the first atomic bomb in 1945. And so he's contemplating the various different things that go on with the most individual pieces of things. So I don't know if the woman is slowly disappearing outward in her atoms or if her atoms are coming in, but that's what he's looking at with this. This piece is called the Ecumenical Council, and an ecumenical council would be a Roman Catholic council meeting for some reason. And he's obviously studying his own opinions on the Roman Catholic Church for this. This is done in 1960, and it is an assemblage of religious scenes and other symbols with personal significance to Dali. At the top is the Holy Trinity, a very youthful father extending an arm to cover his face. Below and to his left is Jesus holding a cross, and the Holy Spirit floats over to the right with his face obscured while a dove flies overhead. Between Jesus and the Holy Spirit is a scene from the papal coronation. And Dali's wife, Gala, is shown kneeling under this area, holding a book and a cross. Beside her is the Cap de Cruz cliffs, which he's painted before because he obviously loved them and thought they were important. Um, and apparently he did not sign this particular piece. So it's showing a huge number of different religious types of things in it. I believe the Archangel Gabriel is in here as well, and he is examining his own religious beliefs. This piece is called the Hallucinogenic Tornado. It's from 1969, 1970. It apparently is starting with a bullfighting ring coming out in a barrage of red and yellow tones. In the top left hand corner, there is a picture of Dali's wife, Gala. He dedicated this piece to her. The thing I find interesting is that he's adding in variations of the Venus de Milo, a very famous classical statue. And he's literally kind of printing her across throughout the picture. Once again, making use of some of the traditional older forms of artwork that people are studying. As Dali got older, he became more famous for being eccentric and unusual and doing strange things. He lived to be quite old, and so he is famous for a lot of his funny, strange things that he would do. All right, my students, we've been looking at some of the more surrealistic artwork of Salvador Dali. You are doing 10 strong sentences about what you found interesting, educational, and important.